tell me a little about your story at Town Hall. Now that we're here, I want to go through the whole thing with you, see if I get some more details.
Okay. That day was kind of cloudy, overcast. Then I just decided to hunt that morning. And then all of a sudden, I just kind of appeared right there by the pipeline marker. I went to try to pick my gun up, look at it through the scope. I mean, he just whirled and went back in the woods and was gone. By no means I want to shoot one, but I mean, I would dearly love to see one up close.
Right.
But I noticed where he was at, and he turned and run back in the woods. Any normal human couldn't walk through it. He run through it.
So that thing had to be a Bigfoot, man. I mean,
Walking around on this iron ore like that, finding tracks down there, when he leaves a track in this iron ore in this hard ground like this, you know he's pretty good size.
but you found a track that day? How big do you think it was?
I don't know, 14, 15, 16 inches long, something like that. I mean, I really didn't measure. Way bigger than my little old foot.
Do you have pictures of it?
Me, I'm not into all that camera, cell phone,
Right.
you know, picture camera stuff.
The next time you see a track like that, you gotta promise them you're gonna go get something to pour it and make a cast. Once again, when talking about Bigfoot witness that had tons of action, especially hunters or biologists that are aware of the sign, saw the footprints, saw the hairs, never collected anything, didn't take a single photo. It blows my mind, but see it over and over and over. But he promised next time he's gonna collect it, cast it, collect the hair, whatever it is, he's gonna document it. So I'm stoked. Well, I wanna walk down there and get myself next to that pipeline marker and get a gauge of how big this thing was. All right, I'm here. Is this it?
That's pretty good.
Okay, I'm gonna raise my hand, and you tell me to stop when it's the right height for the creature's head.
That's about the right height.
Yeah, that's an 8-footer. How thick was it through the chest compared to me? Like this profile shot.
About half again as thick as you.
So you're saying it was this tall? I mean, that's 8 foot. And it was another 50% thicker than me from the back to the chest. That's a big boy.
He's pretty good size.
What makes his size estimate so accurate was it was standing next to a fixed point, a pipeline right-of-way marker that's 4 foot tall. So he knew pretty much how big it was just from that. Hunters are good at judging distance and size. He thought I was 7.5, 8 foot. It turned out I was right around 8 foot. His opinion of what he saw that day didn't change seeing me up there. It just kind of reinforced it. So you have no doubt about what you saw that day is one of these undiscovered, large, hair-covered, two-legged critters running around this part of the country?
No doubt.
Cliff and I are going to follow up with our witness from Town Hall, Faye. She reported seeing a Sasquatch in a pecan orchard.
Hey, guys!
This particular property where the event occurred was about 200 acres of pecan trees. Back in 2008, she said while visiting the property, she observed a Sasquatch about 60 feet away, rummaging through a pecan bag.
So are these big things here pecan trees?
Yes.
Tell us what happened when you went to go harvest.
Well, we was harvesting pecans. And so I was coming through with the tractor, and I noticed something was by the pecan sack, and it was bent over. Then he stood up. I didn't know what to think.
And you weren't afraid at all?
I was on a tractor. I could have run over him.
Oh, gosh. You know, there's this erroneous idea that Bigfoots are really aggressive down here, but in fact, it's that the people on their tractors that might be a little aggressive.
Yes, yes. But I would never hurt him. But, you know, I wasn't scared of him at all.
And how close were you to the figure when you observed it?
I wasn't very far. Maybe that forked tree there.
That's about how far it was?
Yes,
just from here to there? Okay, so that's like, what, 60, 70 feet?
He was, you know, tall and slender.
What color was the figure?
Solid black.
Solid
Solid
black.
black,
Head
okay.
to toe.
Head to toe.
Do you see the face? I mean,
Well, I could see the face, you know, I could see his eyes looking at me, but I really couldn't, you know, see a lot of features, you know.
interesting.
Well, as you're standing there, 60-some feet away, you're seeing a figure covered in black hair, turns and looks at you, and then walks off. What is going through your mind?
When I saw him, I was thinking, this is not real.
But you feel pretty confident this was the distance from the
Yes.
figure? All right, I'm gonna walk over to that tree.
Okay.
Try to recreate what you saw.
Okay.
Faye's pretty sure that she saw a Sasquatch that day, so I'm gonna head over to where the alleged creature was standing and try to get an idea of how big it was. Who knows, maybe we can rule out a person. When you first see the figure, it's bent over the pecan bag.
Yes.
How long did the whole thing take? A few seconds or like 20 seconds, or what do you think?
It wasn't very long at all, probably 20 seconds.
20, well, that's a long time, actually.
Okay, so you're estimating that pecan bag, the top of it was at about this height, about
Yes.
3 or 4 feet? So where would the top of the figure's head be?
Maybe just a little bit taller. So that's probably it right there then.
I definitely believe that Faye saw something that day, but I can't rule out that wasn't somebody trying to pull a hoax on her. I mean, she said it was tall and lean. The proximity to Caddo Lake and maybe somebody trying to pull a prank on that? For me, that's far more plausible than an undiscovered species remaining undetected here in Louisiana.
So much about this encounter makes perfect sense to me. These creatures know that's the sound of the harvesting of these things, so they don't have to go gather these things. You're gathering them for them. So they came up and ate right out of the bag. You crawl up on this thing, it turns and checks you out and just quietly walks away like hundreds and hundreds of other Bigfoot reports. This is spot on. You saw a Sasquatch. I'd bet my life on it.
I would too.
So after Cliff, Renee, and myself reconvened, we decided to go meet up with Ben DuPont. He was not only one of the most recent witnesses, he was also one of the best. Ben was adamant the creature he saw that night was a female. It seems likely that the female Bigfoots only have noticeable breasts when they're nursing. When they're not, they probably just shrivel back up and you can't even tell. That would explain why people constantly say it was a he, it was a he. It could very well be a female, but without the obvious breasts, you can't really tell. It's not a very well-known fact, but a fact nonetheless, that the creature Patty in the Patterson-Gilliam film is a female. You know, just this spooky atmosphere, this moss, and just the overall feel, how it seems kind of ominous. Maybe that kind of contributes to people thinking these things are so dangerous and aggressive here. Thanks for meeting us, Ben. And this supposed to be the famous trailer, huh?
Yes, sir. That's it.
Well, tell us about what happened that night.
One night, I heard some noise outside. And when I got up close to it, it was shaking the trailer. She turned around, that's when I realized it was a female. Kind of had breasts on it. She just kind of throwed her head up, she turned, and when she looked at me, she went, whoa. And when she did, I just stepped out to let her know that I wasn't scared of her. I ain't coming to you, but you don't come to me either.
Yeah.
And then she walked all the way across the field. She turned back around, and when she did, she hollered.
Can you imitate it, or would you imitate it?
Yeah, she went. You could tell it was a female and kind of the shoulders and the hips about the same. It had a lot of muscles in the neck and stuff.
When you heard her do that scream that you did for us, have you heard that noise here before?
A bunch. I think it's more than just one.
Ben, I'm curious about how heavy this thing is. I want to just try to see if I can move it at all.
Oh, go ahead.
I know there's no way I could match the strength of a Squatch, even a female one, but I gotta see, like, how does this trailer feel? Like, how much could I move it? Oh, mad one, pig. So I could get some good shaking. I could get a little side-to-side rock, just a teeny bit, but there's no way I could even budge it the slightest bit off the ground. There's no shame in being out-muscled by a female Squatch. She was way bigger than me. I got beat up by a Samoan chick in high school, so I'm used to it.
With Bobo standing right there, you know, the top of his head, how big was the figure you saw that night?
See that ridge just across the top of her? Hit it by here in the mouth.
So the top of the head would be up here, Ben? The top of the head?
About where your hand is, it'd be the top of its head.
That's a good 7.5 foot.
Yep.
How about for the size of the back?
She's about an inch wider.
On each side.
Yeah, probably like that.
Okay. Man, you really had a good look at this thing.
Look at Bobo when he turns and looks at you.
Creepy,
yeah,
eh?
I mean, well, yeah, he's a little bit more scared.